scream, God, whatever you do, just don't kill me.
She knew she was in trouble. She could sense the violence that this man was capable of.
Drugged me from behind with a gun to the left temple.
She was in the wrong place at the wrong time.
I'm 17 years old. I'm in the fight for my life.
A victim. That defined the early life of Lisa McVeigh. Yet, believe it or not, the terrible things she experienced in her childhood growing up right here in Tampa Bay prepared her to survive something even worse. This is her incredible story. Under unimaginable circumstances, Lisa decided she would no longer be a victim. Not ever. In the early 1980s, most teenage girls were into mixed tapes, boom boxes, and hanging out with friends at the arcade. But tucked away in this small house in a Tampa Bay suburb, Lisa McVeigh was living a very different reality.
I used to work at a donut shop. That was my safe haven. That's where I went to be somebody else.
At 17 years old, Lisa spent most days working at the local Krispy Kreme after school. It was an escape from what was going on behind closed doors at home. She spent years in and out of foster care as her mother struggled with drug and alcohol addiction. At age 13, Lisa had moved in with her grandmother. It was a house of horrors.
At home, I was living a horrific life of childhood rape by my grandmother's boyfriend. Not only did she know, she instigated it. And for the next 4 years, it was brutal. Being raped by him over and over again at gunpoint. I always had to learn how to protect myself.
Day after day, her singular concern was learning to survive until she decided that she didn't want to live at all. Or so she thought.
I was at my darkest season, and I sat down and wrote my suicide note before I went to work that night. I couldn't endure the pain anymore. I felt disgusted. I felt there was no way out. I remember riding my bicycle to work knowing when I come back home, I was going to kill myself.
Believing it would be her final shift, Lisa worked a double, staying into the early morning hours.
2 o'clock in the morning, I ended my shift. I proceeded to ride my bicycle home. Every day, every night, same route. Pedaling on my bicycle on the Tampa Bay streets. That time of the night can be dangerous.
Very dangerous, in fact.
The city was terrified. We had a serial killer on the loose.
Larry Pinkerton was a Tampa police sergeant at the time.
I was a cop for 35 years. Death, violence, destruction. I've seen it. I've had it up to my eyebrows. A number of women had been kidnapped and murdered. We had a joint task force with the sheriff and with the city police department, their detectives and our detectives working to solve this case. They had absolutely no leads, no suspects, nothing.
It was just all over TV. You'd see the bodies being collected and you'd hear the reports of this killer on the loose.
Lloyd Sowers was a Tampa-based journalist.
I was 26 years old. I had just arrived in Tampa. I had been working in Fort Myers, and when I got to Tampa and I saw all these killings, I thought, where have I ended up? You know, Lisa saw that fear too. I mean, she's a teenager working in a part-time job, pedaling her bicycle sometimes late at night to get to and from work.
As I'm riding my bicycle, I'm looking in the park, and I looked over to the church parking lot. It's a dirt gravel parking lot. I see this car, maroon car, 4 doors. It struck me odd because it was parked in the middle of the parking lot. And at this time, I'm passing the van. The van looked like it was broken down. And I was thinking how someone could grab me from inside the van, right? And I looked back at the car, I looked back to the front of the road, and I got jumped.
He followed her in his car and he knocked her off her bicycle.
The bike was still going when I got yanked off my bike. I thought it was 2 or 3 guys. The force was such profound, it just ripped the breath out of my chest for a second. The perpetrator put his arm around my neck and drugged me from behind with a gun to the left temple. Wasn't nothing new to me. I'm used to having a gun to my temple. I screamed, God, whatever you do, just don't kill me.
The very night before, Lisa had planned to take her own life. But now?
There was a spark, just a little spark left in me. I wasn't going to allow someone else to take something else from me. He dragged me across the street, backwards. I could see the ground in front of me. My survivor skills and the mode just naturally kicked in for me. I had to remain calm. I couldn't find him. I was much smaller than he was. So then I had to start putting clues together. Anything I saw, smelled, touched, taste, I had to remember it to save my life.
Lisa kept a level head and took in all the details around her as her abductor dragged her into his car.
I noticed the white leather bucket seats.
You would be terrified that a stranger has taken you and has complete control over you. And she's thinking in terms of planning for her escape.
I get over to the passenger side, he gets in, he orders me to remove all my clothing. At gunpoint. I complied, got all my clothes off. He ties me up, my ankles, my wrists, and now he's gonna blindfold me. There's some way I've got to see beneath this blindfold. You take your jaw, tighten your jaw, real tight. Muscles, right? They contract, they expand. Just like if you put a string around your fists and you let go, it's loose. It allowed my blindfold to be loose enough so I could see beneath my blindfold. He proceeded to make me perform an oral act on him.
After the assault, he had the nerve to strike up a conversation. Lisa needed to respond, but didn't want to tell him the truth.
He asked me how old I was. I said 19. I refused to tell him what my name was. I told him my name was Carol. I didn't think he deserved to know my name. I didn't want him calling me that. And from then on, he called me Babe. He told me if I was going to, if I show him a good time, he wouldn't kill me. But I'm always a good sense of direction. I couldn't see anything yet. So when he took off, his car was facing north. The light, he took an immediate right. Now we're at the interstate because the windows are down. I could hear the changes of velocity of the wind. The fluorescent lights on the interstate, they were shining through my blindfold. You could see it. I could hear the ticking of the car needing like a tune-up. I could see green lighting from the clock down the dashboard.
Somehow, beneath her blindfold, Lisa was able to see the word Magnum on the dashboard of his car.
I'm like, Magnum PI. I used to watch Magnum PI when I was a child. Anything I saw, I related to something I already knew, and I just compartmentalized it so I can remember it. So next thing I know, we get to this wooded area. I start praying. I start praying the Lord's Prayer. I knew he was going to take me into the woods. He was going to rape me. He was going to kill me.
But her abductor had other plans.
And then I hear this voice ordering me to get dressed.
In a moment of unimaginable fear, she knew she had to come up with a way to help police track down her kidnapper. That is, assuming anyone came looking for her.
I'm getting dressed. I'm like, oh no. I'm on my period. Ripped my tampon out and threw it in the car seat. Blood match. I don't know what made me think of that, but I did it.
She, shockingly, had the foresight to try to leave evidence in that car. It didn't seem possible that a young person could be that calm and handle herself with such courage.
He comes around the car, gets me out, and I'm trying to go towards the woods. He redirects me, and now I can see a silver door handle, white painted door. He told me to open the door and walk in. I could see the carpet, predominantly all dark green with black, red, and white specks in it. I don't know why that was significant to me, but I remembered it. Wooden handle railing to go upstairs, and I count every single step So I knew if I could escape, I knew how many stairs I had to run down.
I've thought about this a lot, what must have been going through her mind at the time on multiple levels. I mean, not only the fear she must have been feeling to be captive by this monster, but then she's also thinking at the same time. She's thinking of counting the steps to his apartment. She's thinking of, how am I going to get out of this?
I get to the top platform. He immediately takes a right to a door. Now I know he's Caucasian, he's white. Beneath my blindfold, I could see he reached the door. He's left-handed, and I saw a black revolver. Opens the door, orders me to undress again. He takes all the ligatures off, my blindfold off. Then he orders me into a bathroom. Tells me to keep my eyes shut. He gets me to the shower. And then he starts bathing me, starts washing my hair, almost like he was involved in a romantic relationship.
And that's when things turned much more violent.
He threw him on the bathroom floor where he goes to rape me and he realizes I'm on my period. He got enraged. He was talking about killing me right there and then. I said, listen, I'm sorry. Proceeds to rape me anyways. Takes me to the bedroom. He blindfolds me again. He crawls over me, drags a gun across my stomach, says, just as a reminder, this is here, go to sleep. I didn't sleep.
Because her kidnapper brutally raped her over and over again without mercy. But she was still going to fight, and she continued to leave clues for the police. Live or die, she was doing her best to make sure this man would face justice.
At one point, I took my breath in my hair. For a hair match, I threw it underneath the bed.
There again, another moment where she showed such clarity and such personal strength. She convinced him that she needed to use the bathroom with some privacy.
Takes me to the bathroom. He's, you got 5 minutes. He closed the door, and I start putting my fingerprints everywhere. On the mirror, the medicine cabinet, the toilet, underneath the lid of the tank, the handle of the tank, shower curtain, and I put one print, just my thumbprint alone on the picture because he busted the door down, was putting my print up there. Because I want the police to know if they found me dead, I was at least trying to leave clues that was there. That was one of his victims.
Lisa knew very quickly that she was dealing with a very dangerous man. And the longer that she was with him, the more she was convinced that he's probably going to kill her. And for her to have the thought process that she wanted to leave evidence behind that may help stop him, whether he kills her or not, I think that because as a young girl, she had to grow up fast. She was robbed of her childhood. She learned how to not anger men. Don't make them angry. Try to keep one step ahead of them to protect yourself. And I think that the things she learned being abused as a child helped her to see what might be coming and to think, always be a step ahead of him mentally.
He started asking me these questions about my family. He's asking questions about my mom, my dad, and made this elaborate story up. I was living with my father. I was his only living relative. My mother was no longer in the picture, but my father was dying. He had medical problems, and if you killed me, he would have no one to take care of him, and it would just break his heart. He would die of a broken heart.
I think one of the most amazing things is how the street smarts that she had got her through this. How she manipulated the manipulator. He's playing a game with her. She's playing a game with him. Who is the manipulator? She turned it right back around, and she used what she knew to outsmart him.
He believed her name was Carol and that she was 19 years old.
As I'm sitting there, news break comes on. My last name, my grandmother gave them was Rhodes. That was my father's last name. 17-year-old Lisa Rhodes, missing, any whereabouts, whatever. It became surreal. Somebody was looking for me. I started profusely, when I say profusely crying, realizing they're looking for me, I started shaking. He put the gun on my temple and he says, don't make me kill you. Stop crying. Ha, now I got him. I'm in his head. Don't make me kill you. He's gonna let me live. I gotta keep doing this. I gotta keep playing with his head. Whatever I had to say just to coddle him like a baby.
She had to command the situation to calm this man down.
She said what he wanted to hear, in a sense. She complimented him. She stroked his ego. She told him things that rang a bell in his sick mind.
He said, what do I do with you? I was like, why are you doing this to me? I've been through a recent breakup. I'm getting back at women in general. So I thought maybe he might have been a serial rapist. And I said, listen, you seem like a nice guy. I will be your girlfriend. I'll take good care of you. No one needs to know how we met. It's unfortunate we met this way, but you really seem like a really decent human being. So I was showing compassion.
One of the most amazing things about this is that being a victim of abuse allowed her then to know the things that an abuser might relate to, know things that might save her life.
She managed to appeal to her kidnapper's emotions, attempting to escape death. Finally, a glimmer of hope.
So he goes, well, where do you live at? I think I live in the Wellswood area, Hillsborough Avenue in North Rome. He goes, all right, I'll take you there.
But she wasn't ready to believe that her kidnapper would simply drive her home and drop her off safely.
He goes to a bank, back like this. I could see his statue. Not overweight, but stout, white t-shirt, light blue jeans, white sneakers. Then he goes to a gas station, but he told me if I ran from the car that he was gonna go and kill the clerk and then come after me. And I didn't want the bloodshed because of me. So I stayed. Once he got hit the gas, we left to go, hopefully to the area he's gonna drop me off, which I'm still in my mind, I'm almost there. And he's doing everything he can, I feel, not to kill me. And he pulls into a business on the northeast corner, across the street from another church. And he leans over, he has a hat on, he hugs me, tells me he's sorry, but tell your father he's the reason why I didn't kill you.
She had been held captive for approximately 1,560 minutes.
It was a relatively short time for the public. It was a very long time for Lisa. It was 26 hours of hell and torture.
With each second, her life hanging by a thread, but she was about to be free.
He gets me out of the car. He escorts me down a little bit in front of his car. Now my feet hit a curb. I almost fell over. Wait here 5 minutes. Not a problem. He pulls out, and I'm thinking, wait a minute, I need to get a tag number. I pulled the blindfold off. When I pulled it down, I saw this beautiful oak tree. And I just remember the branches of life. And God telling me, your life's about to change for the good.
It did, but not completely, because her unbelievable story was just that, unbelievable, to everyone around her.
I turned around and just started running. I didn't know to call 911. I knew I was close to my grandma's house. I got to the house and I'm banging. And I banged on this door. My grandma's boyfriend finally ripped the door open, pulled me by my hair, and for the next 5 hours, I endured beatings from him. Interrogation where I'd been at, who I was cheating on him with, all kinds of stuff. And my grandmother finally stood up and said, enough's enough. We need to call the police, let her know she's home. Because they reported me as missing runaway, that I ran away all the time.
Her grandmother called the police to let them know she had returned home. But she didn't believe her. She told them Lisa made up a bogus story about being kidnapped.
The officer that was sent to her home, he was suspicious because of the conflict there. She says I was kidnapped and I was held, and they're saying no, she was with her boyfriend, whatever. Well, the officer was suspicious of that. He had this little nagging thing. This young lady may be telling the truth. So what does that officer do? He could have walked away from it. He had done his job. She's home, she's safe, take her out of the computer. He doesn't do that. He calls for the detectives. The detectives talk to her, and because of the intensity and the unbelievable detail that she's able to share, they were shocked by that.
I think at first there are some people wondering whether to believe her. I mean, she's a young girl. She's telling this story about being captive and the things that she did. And it just sounded too good. It sounded like she had too many clues. It sounded like she has so much detail here, she must be making it up.
They didn't think it was possible. They brought her to the station and they interview her again.
They sent this one female detective in, they got another one in there, and she starts asking me these questions. I'm calm as can be. very calm, telling my story. When she walked out, she must have talked to a police officer at the door saying, I overheard there's too many holes in her story. She walked in, I was like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I need somebody else who's going to believe me. I was like, you got to find this guy. You got to find him. He's out there. He's going to hurt other girls.
Lisa was desperate for someone, anyone, to believe her story.
So a couple more times I go down to the police station, still feel like no one's believing me. They finally summoned for Sergeant Larry Pinkerton.
Lisa finally found the one person who believed her. And it's a good thing, too. Investigators soon realized that her story was just one piece of a much larger, deadly puzzle.
I'm sorry.
The hairs on the back of my neck stood up.
Unlike anything I'd ever seen.
He was a criminal who knew what he wanted, knew where to find his victims, and knew how to cover his trail.
Strangling. Who strangled her with? I think my hands.
He never killed again because of her.
That was my way of saying thank you, God, for letting me live.
Survival. There are not many people who understand the meaning of that word more than Lisa McVeigh. She had flipped the script and was about to go from hunted to hunter. When she finally found the one person who believed her, authorities discovered they were in dire need of Lisa's help, not the other way around.
When I was introduced to Lisa by my detectives and started to talk to her, she was very angry, and she was angry because she felt that no one believed her. The fact that they were having her tell the story over and over.
He goes, she's just a child. He just had this loving fatherly love about him. And he just saw his soul through his eyes. And he looked at me, he goes, I believe you. That's all I need someone to tell me. I opened up like a book.
I was with her for hours. In fact, showing her a picture of my daughter that I had in my wallet. I said, this is my daughter, she's your age. There's nothing I won't do to protect her, and there's nothing I won't do to protect you. I believed the story that she was telling because from telling to telling to telling, it never varied. We would talk about what happened, and then we would go away from that and talk about school, talk about other things, go back, and it was exactly the same in great detail. Unlike anything I'd ever seen from any victim, even police, trained officers who had gone through trauma, they don't have the recall that the minute details that she did. It was just remarkable. No one had ever seen such a thing.
After sharing her story with Detective Pinkerton, Lisa had a realization that changed the course of an entire investigation.
The news came on and another dead body had surfaced. I stopped dead in my tracks. Intuition, call it what you want. I knew right there and then when the hairs on the back of my neck stood up, the same killer was my abductor. And I just knew it. I just knew it. I told Pinkerton what I had heard on the news. I'm saying the same guy that took me is your killer. He is your killer. We didn't know his name yet, but he is your killer.
Lisa was asked to work with investigators to put a name to the face of the man who had brutalized her for 26 hours. She was worried that she was not his first victim, and she would not be his last.
Once Sergeant Larry Pinkerton said, I believe you, that was a window of opportunity for me to start helping with this case and see it through. Just like a little miniature detective. Anytime they need me at the police station, I was there. I was recounting steps. I actually got into a car with him at one time. We drove around town with my eyes closed of what direction to travel from that same church.
Lisa helped police retrace the final drive her kidnapper took before releasing her. They found the ATM he stopped at during the ride. She also remembered the word Magnum on the dash of the car. Authorities cross-referenced registered Dodge Magnums in the area with the names found in the ATM. And from that, they narrowed down their search to a few suspects and showed Lisa photographs. The problem was, she never actually saw her kidnapper, but she did have a plan at the time.
Although she's blindfolded, she is able to touch his face, and he lets her touch his face. She has a mental picture of what this man looks like.
She felt pop marks and a small mustache, bushy eyebrows, and a round face. Based on those characteristics, she identified a photo of accused rapist Robert Joseph Long, a.k.a. Bobby Joe Long.
Bobby Joe Long was just elusive. He was a smart guy. He was an evil guy, and he was a criminal who knew what he wanted, knew where to find his victims, and knew how to cover his trail.
We believe that he started his criminal career in South Florida by breaking in and raping women. And then he progressed from that to move north. I probably got worried about getting caught down there. He moved further north, got a job in the Tampa Bay area, and he started attacking sex workers.
I think Lisa turned Bobby Joe Long's hatred for women right back at him. She knew, I believe, a bit about what made Bobby Joe Long tick, what made Bobby Joe Long so evil, what made Bobby Joe Long think that he could victimize her. And then she took that and she put it right back on him.
Police finally made their move.
The breakthrough was the girl's description of this car, a red Dodge Magnum. A round-the-clock search led detectives to the car Thursday, the catalyst for a 24-hour surveillance of Long by 6 to 8 undercover detectives.
Detectives pulled Long over, telling him he was the suspect in a robbery. They gathered more evidence without tipping him off.
They're checking his car for damage. He doesn't have a clue what they're doing. They've called more detectives so that they can surveil him. They're very, very cordial. He's cordial. They give him back his driver's license, turn him loose. He's going to be followed now by other detectives that he hasn't seen.
Not knowing he was being followed, Bobby Joe Long went straight to a dumpster and threw away a large hunting knife.
One of the detectives recovers that knife. They continue following him. He goes to a theater and goes to a movie. Detectives go into the theater and sit with him. When he comes out of the theater, they arrest him.
Well, the detectives were in here for about a half hour to 45 minutes watching the theater behind me. And all of a sudden they said, "We've got him." And they ran out into the parking lot. They handcuffed him, put him in the car, read him his rights.
You have to wonder what was going through Long's mind as he immediately realized Lisa McVeigh, the girl he set free, must be the reason he was in handcuffs. Did he know he was outsmarted by a 17-year-old?
When they arrest him, he says, "I knew it was going to be a problem when he turned her loose." He made that statement before the detectives could even advise him why he was arrested.
Just 12 days after Lisa's kidnapping, Bobby Joe Long was in custody, and he started talking right away.
You said something earlier, okay? About the reason you let her go. And what would happen as a result of letting her go. You want to say that again?
I knew it would lead to me getting caught.
How did you know that?
I just knew it would. I knew she saw me. And I had a pretty good idea she could see underneath the blindfolds. And it was a real tug of war trying to decide if I should let her go or not. But I didn't want to hurt her.
I remember Larry, Sergeant Pinkerton, coming to me saying, you got him. I thought I was dreaming. I'm like, what do you mean I got him? You got him. He's in our custody. And I just started crying.
Police found a key piece of evidence from Long's car, proof that Lisa had been telling the truth from the very beginning.
So the link that connected my case was when they sent my clothes to the FBI lab in Washington, D.C., and they found the same red tri-lobal carpet fibers, like from a shag carpet from his car.
That red carpet fiber didn't just connect Long to Lisa's kidnapping, it linked him to a number of unsolved murders, all committed by the suspected serial killer stalking the Tampa Bay area.
When you compared her evidence to the evidence they have in these homicides, and you had this one red fiber that was a thread through several of these murders, we now have a live witness.
When Bobby Joe Long was caught, there was a collective sigh of relief throughout Tampa and the Tampa Bay area that this nightmare finally came to an end.
Lisa McVeigh was the one who got away, the one whose recollections of 26 hours of terror in Long's hands led to his capture.
They called her the one who got away, the anomaly. Lisa didn't change Bobby Joe Long, she just figured him out. Police now know that he went on to kill 2 more women after her escape and before his arrest.
It seemed they'd never catch him. The serial killer who was stalking exotic dancers and prostitutes, raping them, killing them, dumping their bodies.
I saw Robert Joe Long a few years later when I had to go to court. Just gave a smirk like, oh yeah, they're bringing her. He was just so nonchalant. Like, they're not gonna believe her. That's how I felt, you know.
But they did believe her. Investigators went to Long's home and found all the evidence Lisa had left for them, just as she had hoped.
Everything that she said came to pass, came to be true. And no one has that recall. She thinks she's going to die, but she has that kind of courage and calmness to gather the evidence that we're going to need one day to convict this man. From the number of steps up to his apartment, to the fingerprints that she left, to the hair barrette, all of that evidence sunk him when it came time for a trial. This young girl tied him up legally.
Long confessed to 10 murders, dozens of rapes, and the kidnapping and crimes against Lisa McVeigh. His confession was played in court.
Strangle her. What did you strangle her with? I think my hands. Okay, you ever tied her? You know what you tied her with? Shoestring.
Bobby Joe Long was sentenced to death. Lisa finally began to move forward, but with a bit of help. When she opened up to Detective Pinkerton about her grandmother's boyfriend, he didn't hesitate to believe her yet again and did what he could to protect her.
She started crying and she told me everything. Told me about her life and the abuse that she was living in up to that moment. And I'm looking at this little girl that nobody's on her team, and a few hours later I put him in jail. Now, I could have sent the detectives to do that, but I wanted to do it.
Right after he arrested my grandmother's boyfriend, I was out of that house.
And she was finally ready to share her story with the world.
I mean, this guy, he knew what he was doing. He had me. Forgot. I could have been dead. I could have been lying down in some ditch or somewhere.
Here's this teenager who is the victim of this horrible monster who is facing all the cameras and telling her story. I remember being impressed with her then. And there she is talking about it, how she helped catch this serial killer.
She was well aware of if he's going to do this to her, he's going to do it to someone else. Whether she lived or died. I'm sorry. she was going to stop this man, and she stopped this man. He never killed again because of her.
I had to help. That was my way of saying thank you, God, for letting me live. After my abduction and life goes on, right, I never gave it one thought of moving from Tampa. The city didn't do this to me. One man did this to me. How do you copy this unit?
She found a new calling in life: to prevent the violence she had experienced from happening to others.
Since I feel Tampa Police and Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office helped save my life, I in turn went and became a Hillsborough County Sheriff deputy.
I watched her grow up, and she did. We watched her go to the police academy, graduate. My wife and I were there when she got her badge and took her oath. Every police officer wants to think that they made a difference, that they helped or maybe even saved lives. She knows that she saved lives.
I just remember, you know, the news that she's going to become a deputy, she's going to become a police officer. You know, wait a minute, let me get this straight. The same gal who was in that press conference talking about all these details, the same gal that was the captive of Bobby Joe Long and led them to the serial killer, now she's going to become a police officer? Really?
I'm not a victim. I'm no longer a victim. I'm a survivor and I'm a warrior.
And I'm thinking, okay, here's another reporter moment when you're going, oh, that's a story.
Being a police officer just gives you that upper level of knowing you're not going to hurt me anymore. You're not going to control me. I'm in my own destiny, my own control now. And it's a very good, it's powerful. It is powerful to have that strength restored. Back then, I had to learn coping skills of survivor mode of protecting myself. And now I'm out here protecting others.
Year after year, decade after decade, we got to know a lot about Bobby Joe Long as Bobby Joe Long sat there for so many years on death row. But as the rest of us looked at it as perhaps an interest, and now, wow, did you know this about this serial killer? It's not like that for the victim's family. He's still breathing air, and our daughter is still dead, and we have no justice.
I actually was at work, and I got a phone call, and I was in the middle of doing something, so I went to my office and sat down. I'm in my uniform, my police uniform. And she goes, Governor Ron DeSantis just signed his death warrant. And I went, what's that mean? She goes, he's slated to be executed. And we want to know if you want to be there. I started crying. It's way too long. He's been on death row. It's about time. Closure for me was made years ago, but I wanted to be there for the other victims. Just be there for one another.
Lisa reached out to an old friend, hoping he'd be by her side.
She calls me and she says that they're going to execute him such and such a date, and it's pretty close to when she calls me. And an awful lot of, I guess, important people are going to go to this execution. And she said that she wanted me to be there, and I promised. I said, well, okay.
When the date was finally set for Bobby Joe Long's execution, it was like, this can't be happening, this can't be real. You know, he's been with us for so long. I'm having to tell my colleagues who this guy is because it's been 30 years. Now he's finally going to go to the execution chamber after all these years. But I thought, I'm one of the few people around here in this newsroom that lived this. And so I was selected to be one of the journalists who would witness the execution.
They tell us that it's now time, and we go to the death house, and it's small. That room is no bigger than this. And it's packed. Lots of people are in there going to be witnesses to this thing. There must have been about 20, 25 people there. They all know Lisa. And Lisa's the hero there because they all know that they're getting justice. They're getting justice today because of Lisa's courage and who Lisa was.
One of the things that struck me on the day of the execution was who wasn't there. The moms and the dads. And the people I'd interviewed 30 years ago. It was almost like it had happened in another lifetime. A lot of people didn't even remember, but Lisa did. She remembered big time. It was like time had not elapsed since that 26 hours.
On Bobby Joe Long's execution day, Lisa wore this shirt, long overdue. And she sat in the front row with Detective Pinkerton.
Lisa's center in this room, right center, and I'm to her right. And these drapes open up and it's all glass, and your knees are right there. He's already on the gurney, that's it, and he's spread out like this. And his feet are that close to you on the other side of that glass. They already have the IVs in them.
Bobby Joe Long is lying there on, I guess I'll call it a bed. There's a phone there as if the governor is going to call. This is like something out of a movie.
He did not look at us. They asked him a question. If he had anything to say, he said no.
I saw him yawn one time prior to being 2 or 3 minutes into it. He yawned, and then not another movement, no twitching, no nothing.
I saw Lisa, who was nodding, as if to say, I saw it. As if to say, after all these years, Bobby Joe Long is dead.
Bobby Joe Long, people ask me what I would say to you if you were standing in front of me, and here's my answer. Bobby Joe Long, thank you. Thank you for choosing me instead of another 17-year-old little girl. The reason why I say thank you now is because I have forgiven you for what you have done to me. Had I not forgiven you, I might as well be in my own prison without walls. I believe that God picks strong people. And I happen to be stronger because of what I went through for those 4 years at home, the abuse. I became stronger. That was my journey.
I promised you when you were a little girl I would do anything you needed.
Oh, thank you so much.
And I
very
will.
important.
And I will.
To this day, Lisa McVeigh and Larry Pinkerton remain close friends, but they've never spoken about the case on camera until now.
You saved untold lives. He was going to kill and kill until he was captured.
Yeah.
He was going to have to make a big mistake because we had nothing until we had you.
He made 2 mistakes, 2 fatal. He chose me, then he let me go.
Well, you were a teenage girl with a psychology degree because you played him perfectly.
To the T. Mm-hmm.
Perfectly.
And it saved my life.
And it did.
I know with a shadow of a doubt, had you not got involved, I would not be sitting here today. I'm so, so grateful.
Retracing Bobby Joe Long's steps from all those years ago, Lisa brought us to the location where she took off her blindfold and realized for the first time, I will live.
The first thing I saw was this oak tree. Right there and then, I knew my life was going to change for the better. This symbolizes my freedom from my abuse that I had went through. This tree represents me to teach me to stand tall and proud and strong. When I'm having a bad day, I come and hug my tree. It's history. This is it, guys. This is the moment my life changed for the better.
Coming up in episode 3, I join Lisa as she patrols the streets of Tampa Bay. Why didn't she ever leave the place where she was abused and traumatized? Stay tuned for the finale of her powerful story. Well, hello! All right, here we go. Are we ready to do this? Why start here now that I'm with you in Tampa Bay?
This is the actual location that I left on a bicycle. I was working until 2 o'clock in the morning that night. I wanted to start here to show the progression of where I was at my life at the age of 17 up until the present date. And we're talking, November 3rd is going to be the 40-year anniversary of my abduction. So I thought it'd be like poetic justice for me to come here first, so it could be a reminder of how far that I've come in my life.
It is amazing to see you come back to this place. You're smiling with the people who work there. You're a hero here. How does that make you feel?
Makes me feel proud to know that even though I no longer work for Krispy Kreme donut shop, they still have my back. You know, they still remind themselves of my story. So I was told one of the girls opens a store here, the storefront at 4 a.m. and she intentionally parks in front of the store for lighting because she remembers my story. And it saves her. Every day she opens up, she said it saves her.
This is who you were meant to be. This is it.
As a matter of fact, I'm actually on the detectives list for the sheriff's office, and my ultimate desire is to end up in the special victims unit.
I can't imagine anyone on your team who wouldn't rejoice in that for you. That is full circle. That is paying it forward, and that is a divine assignment.
And that's why I became a sheriff deputy, is because I want to give back to the community that ultimately saved my life.
That's amazing. And now you can teach others. Should we roll? I want to see what you do. I mean, you are a moving survivor.
God supplies. He's blessed me so much in my life, you know, having a home, having a car, having a wonderful job. I mean, this job is the epitome of, it's a thankless job, but in the end, it's a thankful job.
Why do you call it a thankless job?
In the times today, you know, there's people that have had a bad experience with police officers, and I get it. I understand them. I hear them. I listen to them. I get it. But we're not all like that. And it's up to me and other people in my agency to make a difference in someone's life.
Have you come across other young girls who have been abused or traumatized, sexual assault, any of what you experienced?
Yes. I mean, there are some girls, even young men, that have been sexually assaulted. And I don't use that word very lightly. I refer to it as rape because that's what it's called. Unfortunately, the statute is sexual assault. There have been quite a few cases I've worked myself that had panned out to be true.
And when you're with that victim, what do you offer that victim from your past?
I offer those victims love. They may have not gotten love at home, be a parent or whoever. The person they love, it could have been a father, or it could have been an uncle or mom's boyfriend, whoever it is, and they have that negativity so long, right? So love, gratitude. I share when the time is right. I share my story so I can identify with them. I've been through the same thing. I know what you're going through. I get it. You know, it helps, but then on the reverse side, some kids like, you don't know what I went through. You're right, I don't.
Yeah.
I wasn't in your position, but I can tell you what I've been through. And if you want to sit and talk to me, fine. If you don't, that's okay too. And in the end, ultimately, they want to talk to me.
I have to ask this question. I mean, it is beautiful in Tampa Bay. You could have left. You could have left it all behind you and made a different life. Why did you stay?
This is my home. This was my home. How can I move? And I get people always saying, how can you stay there knowing what you went through and you were kidnapped, and how can I not? There's other people I gotta help. I can't, I have to stay.
Now, if you get named, and we're gonna claim it with our prayers right now, when you get named to that special victims unit, how will your job change? And how is it that you perhaps feel like you are really ready for that type of dedicated performance on the job?
When I get the Spirit of the Lord speaking to me and tell me it's time, I can go bless and enrich other lives and help those victims, perpetrators, take accountability for their actions. My job's done. When I first got kidnapped and my perpetrator got arrested, it was justice, right? The day he took his last breath when he got executed, which I sat in the front row, was justice was now complete.
How did you watch that?
How can I not? Closure, there was no closure for me. How I was to watch it was, I had to watch it for the other victims. You gotta understand, I'm the other victims who didn't make it, their advocate. I'm their sister. I could have been their mother, I could have been their aunt, I could have been their grandma. I had to stand up and take a stand for them, because they were not there to see this through. They weren't there to say, you took a piece of me. You know, and it wasn't about, I want him to fry, I want him to die. It had nothing to do with that. It was about a journey of justice was served the day he got arrested, and justice was completed the day he took his last breath. It was important that I had to do that so I can start on to the next chapter of my life and be an advocate for others. Give me a microphone to hear me roar, because I'm going to speak loudly.
How about
because
that?
I think it's important to show what you're capable of. I did not realize at the age of 17, I've gone through major sexual abuse from the age 13 to 17, realized that I was already a survivor. I was surviving a very live trauma in my life. So when I encountered, you know, the serial killer, I had to dig so deep down in my stomach to where I was in pain. You're going to survive this. I mean, I was at one point wanting to kill myself at the age of 17. Now I'm fighting for my life, because I wasn't going to give anybody the satisfaction of taking my life away.
What is your life like now? I mean, you have gone on, you've stayed here in Tampa Bay, you have great respect in your communities where you serve in your county. Among the citizenry that we're meeting, your police chief has also been with your force for a very long time. He hired you.
Yes.
Who is Lisa McVeigh today?
I don't look at my job as a paycheck. I look at my job as gratitude. I look at my job as, when I put this shield on every morning, who am I going to encounter to be a light in their life? I am today the person that I never thought I could be, but we're all capable of changing our life and changing our ways. You know, I'm assigned to the school resource unit. I work with kids day in and day out. So to make an impact on a young child's life, I'm hard. I can be hard on my kids. They end up calling me school mom. So the respect that you have from the children, the parents, that comes all from our sheriff and the training that we are provided for the sheriff's office. And school resource deputies, we train extra. You know, unfortunately for the, you know, any school shootings or any incidents on our campuses, we train rigorously every year. And I got to thank my sheriff for that, because we are very fortunate as an agency to be able to have access to the training that we have to make us the deputies that we're supposed to be. I want someone running to me when they need help, not running away.
When you touched your badge a moment ago, and when you talk about what you do now, I feel power. Did you feel power as a 17-year-old?
Yes and no. All I remember is that I had to stay calm. I had to stay calm because I was already being abused at home sexually. And anytime I would upset my grandmother's boyfriend, he would be enraged. And I noticed if I had upset my perpetrator that had me for 26 hours, he would go into that same fit of rage. It's that psychology, and you look for certain clues. And I'm 17 studying this, right? You know, it's like reverse psychology. I had to coddle him. I had to make sure that he was in control. And all the while I was in control, I had the power. I was scared to death, but I still ended up having the power. It's kind of weird to explain. I also felt powerless too.
Well, you didn't know how it was going to end.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's such an important and wise lesson that you are teaching now about doing things afraid. There couldn't have been a moment in those 26 hours where you said, oof, the heat's off. No, but you kept going.
Yes, and that's the key. You have to keep going. The minute you lay down and become someone's doormat, you're done.
Is survival like that years later?
Yes, I think so. But again, you can remain a victim, or you can go and be a survivor, but there's more than just surviving. You have to live, and you have to live fully. My anniversary of my release, I've always wanted to go hot air ballooning. And this year I'm going hot air ballooning.
Yes!
So that's my gift to myself.
Love it.
So every year I call it my thriving birthday. So every year now, from this point on, now it's my 40th year anniversary, I'm going to start living.
November 4th.
Yep.
We're going to see you in a hot air balloon.
Yep.
I love that.
And I'm definitely scared of heights. But you know what? Either God's going to let me fall or he's going to catch me.
Oh, I think you're in good hands. I know
think I'm in
you
good
are.
hands.
I know you are. What would you think if someone said, what is your superpower?
Superpower is my voice.
Yeah.
my superpower is to be able to show others how resilient you can be and how you can overcome anything. It's that resiliency in me that basically saved my life. I'm not perfect. Do I have my bad days? Absolutely. But I remind myself, don't stay in those dark places. Yeah. And if you've ever been in a dark place, you know how hard it is to pull yourself out, right? Mm-hmm. But you can. One phone call. Hey, I need help.
What brings you joy now, just when you're not on patrol and you're just hanging out as Lisa?
You know, I'm learning to rediscover it's okay to date myself. I know it sounds weird.
Do you have a she shed?
I will.
You're building a she shed.
I will. My days off, I'm learning to go out and eat by myself. I'm learning it's okay to be by yourself. I have a beautiful Rottweiler. His name is Cooper Elvis. He brings me joy. Mm-hmm. I go to church. The joy is just surrounding myself with peace. I am learning to find joy in my life. In everything I do, every person I touch in my life, I try to bring joy.
I always like to ask people who the unsung hero is in their story. Who would that be for you?
Larry Pinkerton.
How long did you keep in touch with Detective Pinkerton?
I have kept in touch with Larry Pinkerton for now 40 years. Last week I had dinner with his wife, Betsy, and his daughter, Becky. That following week, Larry and I both went to his daughter's school and we spoke at her daughter's class as a guest speaker. I will always stay in him and Betsy's life and their daughter. I met his daughter right after the abduction. We all went out to eat. I remember Pinkerton took me to a classical music live orchestra. And I've never forgotten that, and I love orchestra live music.
He was looking for ways to soothe your soul.
Yes, he did. It was almost like I was a daughter to him. What a great parent.
Oh, we both were saying the same thing. What a great parent.
And even when I walked into his daughter's classroom, there he was, showing me up again, talking highly about me. I'm like, oh, Lord.
Well, you want to know why everybody knows you.
And I got like 25 cards from the classmates sent to my house thanking me for speaking in their class. It was beautiful.
How do you help young victims to be as strong as you?
I got notified by a Lee County captain a couple years back. I was out of school permanently. I've been there for 6 years. He emailed me. He had this case. This girl had been sexually abused by a mom's loved one for years. And they finally arrested him and they were going to court. And he asked them, I talked to the girl. She was nervous going to court and everything. And I'll call her. I'll talk to her. Talk to her for days during the court. And I said, I want you to do me one thing. You stand up for yourself. Just remember my story, you got this. And they were able to get a conviction of him. So my strength transferred on to her to where she's able to be strong enough to say, hey, if she can do it, I can do it. Just a prime example of being kind to another human. And say, hey, we got this together. I'm with you 100% of the way. We got this.
Is it ever too much, all that you do?
Mm-mm. Never too much. It was never too much for me, the countless hours the police did to catch the serial killer and put him behind bars and get him to stop killing. It was never too much back then. All the hours they put in, all the hours they did the surveillance, it's never too much. Never too much. I'll never stop. Never. It's not enough.
It's not enough.
I'm one person. Imagine all the victims out here. There's just not enough people to help. But I'm going to do everything in my power to help whoever I can.
Was there ever anything else you wanted to do at 17? Did you know then, I want to be a cop?
I've known I wanted to be a police officer since I was about 7 years old.
Really?
Yeah, because I was always in foster care too. I had to fight for my identity. I had to fight for my individuality of who I was meant to be. I always watched police shows as a child. I always wanted to work in some capacity, form of law enforcement, whether it was FBI, U.S. Marshals, the county police, or the county sheriff, the city police. I just always had this deep passion of just wanting to help others. Because when I help others, it helps me.
Let me ask you this, and we'll end on this. When did you know that you could find peace in your life? How long after being abducted and all that happened to you, torture for 26 hours, finding your way out, seeing your way through the case, how long did it take to take that deep exhale and say, it's going to be okay?
Probably now 37 years.
Wow.
Just now, within the past 2.5 years, I have finally honestly found peace in my life.
Why do you think it takes so long?
It takes a while. You have to give yourself time to heal. You have to give that time. You know, they say time heals
But
all
keep going.
wounds. Right, but you gotta keep going. And it's hard. Because here you're out trying to help save the world, right? Being a police officer, right? Get to the point you get home, and you can't save your own.
Mm-hmm.
So I think when I finally broke down and said, God, I need help, He put this trauma therapist in my life when I really needed her. Because a long time I didn't know what self-care was or self-love was. And now I know. And now it's just, when you finally wake up and you actually see and you look and you're thinking, I'm blown away. I can do this.
Do you like this Lisa McVey?
Yeah, I do. I love this Lisa McVey, you know? Healing doesn't stop. Healing does not stop.
So the whole point of getting together today, to me, is culminated in the difference that you make. And hearing you talk about going forward is so hopeful, because these words that you spoke are so true. Mm-hmm. I'm not perfect. It's not going to be perfect.
Nope.
But I can't stop moving forward.
Bad things do happen to good people, but you don't have to stay there. You can go on and survive and thrive. I try to see myself as a thriving warrior in surviving what I've been through, and to, when I take my last breath, I want to be able to make my legacy meaningful and purpose for others, to go on with your life and become something and someone you're meant to be.